What's up, guys? Welcome back to Card Table. Today we're doing another deck update, but before that, a couple quick announcements. I'm sorry I did not post last week. I was actually out of town at a cousin's wedding. There was a couple of openings I wanted to do for set 12, but I ended up just being way too greedy and opening them there. But thumbs up below if you guys do want to see an opening video. I'll try and do some more boxes in the future, or like tournaments or whatever. Trying to read Jet ZTB Reaper. There he is. He's my Reaper map for Spooky Month. Yeah, deck update today. I will try to get a live testing video from the tournament tomorrow, so hopefully that'll be up sometime this week to make up for it, and probably another Overwatch thing coming up soon because Drunken Side's Revenge. But let's get started. So this is, of course, an update to my Gear Chronicle deck, my main one. That set 12 actually brought a lot to Zodiac Time Beast, so it has changed a lot. I'll try to go over the stuff you don't know about real quick, so here we go. First off, Chronodran. You know Chronodran, he's cool. He gets you Chrono Jet. The end. Grade 3 starting off with the obvious one. We got 4 Mr. Jet G. I've ran and raved about him multiple times. You should know what he does by now. The time leap isn't as important right now because you should set up yourself, but it is there, and you're going to be getting huge power off him on your next 6 turns. Speaking of huge power, here's new dude number 1. It's a cow. He goes moo. Skills kind of goes hand in hand with Chrono Jet G, where basically, if you guys remember, his GB2, for every 2 cards face up in your G zone, he gets +5, and your Vanguard and your Zodiacs get +1. So on top of that, for every, he has this effect basically twice, one for free and one for a counter blast. But once a turn, he gets +1 for every card face up in G zone. Then you kind of have to do that again. So say that you're on 2, for example, like your first one stride or whatever. Boom, skill gets +1 off that, +2 off the 2 face up. And if you want another +2. So that's actually counter blast while making him a 16k attacker. And that's just off of 1 stride. He gets huge. Great rear guard ability. Might run more in the future. Like I said, there's a lot of testing around in this deck. Moving on, we got 1 normal Chrono Jets. Got mine signed by Dr. O in New York a couple years ago. Yeah. So, the OG Jet, I don't know if I've actually explained him recently. He's mostly in here as another target for a Chronodran, just so I could have more grade 3s to ride. Optimally, we'll go into G most of the time, but he is here. So, he has 2 main skills. First of all, if you stride on him, you can counterblast once, send one of your cards bomb deck. This is very reminiscent of Gear Chronicle's old thing to just kind of spin cards back in, so it gives you some sort of control. And his GB2 actually gives him +5 in guard restrict. So not quite as cool as the huge numbers that G gets, but still gets you there in some tough situations. And the guard restrict is on grade 1 or higher, I believe, so they can only use G guards and zeros. So that's that. It's not bad. Optimally you run a G, but can't doubt the original. And final grade 3 is Snake. You guys know about him by now. Helps you countercharge, gets power. Boop. And grade 2s, we're in a lot of 3-ofs. First and foremost, you all know about our friend Cruising Dragon. Can blast 1 when he attacks near Chrono Jet. Check top 3, add 1 to hand. Really cool, really good. New card that kind of goes with that is the Horsey. What's his name? I need to memorize all these. Spearhead Unicorn, not a Pulsar. So no ZTB, obviously this deck is all Zodiacs, except for a couple cards. And he's basically on attack, counterblast 1, check your top of your deck for every card on board. So he does count himself. So even though he's low on Vanguard, just that would be count for 2 because him plus the Vanguard. But check for cards equal to number of Zodiacs you have. Look for a card that isn't him and call it. So this is really cool combos with a lot of your cards in your deck. It essentially gives you more wave attacks off if you weren't able to give him that turn. Now let's put that in that do cost counter blast. His deck is pretty CB heavy, but that's kind of what the stake's for. And the cards I'll show you later. So 3 of those. Got 2 this guy, no do card. Duplex Dragons, basically on call, bind, if you're grade 3 or higher, you could bind top card of deck, and whatever grade that is, your opponent chooses 1 card that's a grade lower than that, and moves it back to deck. Equal to or lower, my bad. So this is great, gives you another control option, and your opponent chooses, so it does get around resist. This is really cool, helps you get cards bound, and helps you, control board. And it's not generation locked. Really freaking good. playing around with a number of these. I got two bunnies you already know about her. A huge power card. And the last one from my Demiurge profiling that you might have seen. We ran two tigers in here. Not sure about him, he might fall out for someone else, but he's basically here for your draw engine. To give you some early game. He's a 10k defender if you need it. And yeah, I mean, you're not going for Demiurge, so you're not really bothering too much with the speed up. But he does give you a little bit of draw power, which helps out with some of your strides and setup turns. Moving on to the gray ones. Obvious card is obvious. You got 4 perfect guards. Always use this in Zodiac, that's all there is to it. For this new guy, Pulsar Tamer Hegado. Hegard, I'm trying to be Japanese. Hegard, Grade 1 Snake. So, he's really cool. Has 2 abilities. First of all, Duration Break when he's placed, you Soul Charge 1. Which helps out a little bit. This build doesn't Soul Blast as much as other builds do, but it is a Darkstone deck. It does play with the Soul. Always helpful. And for his other skill, you can retire him while you're on Strad. So you retire him, Soul Blast 1, target him and another card he drops him, put him back to bottom deck, and countercharge 1. This is great. This is great. Refill Manage Your Soul a little bit. He lets you have countercharge, which deck desperately needed, and stacks 2 cards in bottom deck. So you can target trades with this. You can target your piece that you want to fetch out with Unicorn or whatever. And he's really cool. I like him. Run 4. We got 3 Jeffrey Clones. Croon Grade 1. Goes in solo and draws you a card. And 3 Stride Fighter. Pretty self-explanatory. Finally, triggers. Got 4 heals. I'm running 2 different types right now just to trick people. I don't Demiurge this. I might put them back in, but I think there's only 19, maybe 20 targets in this deck, so not really worth running it at that point. 3 the Buffalo. This is the new crit. It's kind of like your standard Margle, plus goes in the soul and gives some +3. Not too important, but does help some of your cards hit numbers, for instance, the main strat of the deck now. And yeah, it helps refill souls, which is always great. Might put up to 4, but I just like having these 2 in because it's a doggo and a bunny. And I'm the other rabbit. That stands, we still got Sheep in here. He still combos really well with most of the deck. There's actually a... I might do that as a separate combo video later for tech videos, but yeah, there's actually a thing that he does with the Unicorn. I guess I think was 11, 12 attacks or something like that for 1 counter blast. So he's really cute. Helps you send cards back to deck, so helps you cycle. And gives you wave attacks again, so more attacks is always good. He's a good card. The final card is a Water. This was really popular in the Timely build. I'm actually taking him in here just because he's not too bad as a target for Jet G if you have nothing better than Time Leap. Basically, when he gets bound from field, you put him in bottom deck, draw 2 cards, then send 1 card plus him back in and shuffle. So really cool. It's free +1 because you put 1 back in deck, but essentially whenever you get him with Jet, you're like, alright, boop, boop. Call it grade 1, whatever you want combo. By the way, draw 2. By the way, send this trigger my hand back to deck along with him and shovel. +2. Take the cards that you need. Helps you forget every draw. This card was absolutely amazing at Time Leap era. Alright, so that's the main deck. Moving on to strides. First and foremost, we got everyone's favorite Phoenix. Everyone's favorite Burb. He is down to 2 in this just to make room for other stuff. And once again, a lot of experimental stuff. I might move it back to 4 once I do decide on the final lineup. But he still gives that solid turn of refilling the board, which is great. Got the new star to show. Mr. Gear next. I have 2 of him right now. Again, the 4 is kind of up for debate based on that and next age, but I still think that 2 is really healthy for the game. No experiment card. So this dude, he's kind of like next age, as he's resetting Vanguard. His skill is Soul Blast 1, so you don't have to worry about Counter Blast. Helps you out a lot. And he gains the ability that after he attacks, well, Soul Blast 1, flip a dude. But yeah, he gives the ability to add 3 attacks. You can take 3 Zodiacs from your hand and or hand and or field. So that can't come from anywhere. And shuffle him bottom of the deck, resand him with drive -2. This is fantastic. The big thing on this is that it does include your field, and it's any way that you want. So with all your unicorns, all your, taco mans, basically like half your deck that says you either draw a card or you get to call a card when you attack with it or whatever. Combo. Add cards to hand. Call cards. Oh, I'm going to shove those back in the deck. Don't care about field. Don't care about my hands. Resand. Yo, what up, dog? So that's really cool. On top of that, he does get his GB4 that when he resands, he gets +10 and goes back up to Twin Drive. So it's effectively 5 drive checks for free. Not bad. I believe, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. But I think like using the Buffalo on him gives him up to like 31, 41, which is great. Magic numbers. 2 next stage. Pretty self-explanatory. It's the next stage. The other resander. Carablast 1, discard 3. Restands his heart. This is where it gets really weird, because like I don't know if I want to just do this and go to Jet G for huge power, or just do this and have a effectively better cost. They're both kind of the same cards, both fill similar roles. It's really up to you how you want to play it. Right now I'm just playing 1 pair of each. We are running 2 Split Pegasus, which most of the time he used to be flip fodder, but now he's actually useful. So his actual skill, which I never told you before, Cat Blast 1, flip up anything. You could take one of your cards. I think it has to be Zodiac. It doesn't matter. But you take your card, shuffle it back in the deck, and then call out 2 cards that are 1 grade lower. 2 Zodiac Time Beasts. Once again, the whole deck ZTB, that part doesn't matter. But effectively, this lets you set up whatever you want. You could have a grade 2 that goes into 2 cool grade 1s to help you draw cards, or to help you reset with Tegardo. You could do the Chronodram play, have your Jet out, and put the Jet back in to get 2 good grade 2s out. Really freaking good. On top of that, G-Zone, he gives you cards +1. That's kind of why he's there as a flip fodder, just a +1 your field. And with 2 of that +2's your field, which is kind of cool. But yeah, he basically helps you set up, which is great. Top of that, we have the Free Stride Duo. Series explanatory, you want me at GB1, cool. And this guy, if you can't stride, once again, you're not really building the damageness, but he does flip up a Pegasus if you don't want to use Pegasus, and he is an option if you need to stride and don't have your first stride. Now, another new card is Gary Glare. We do have my around with a Singleton. First effect, I'll tell you in the future, because I do have a Chronofang deck on the way, which probably come up next week, but whatever. Ignore the first skill, it involves Chronofang. The important one is this line, where it says, the number of cards that you have bound is 3, he gets +10. If it's 5, he gets a crit. And if it's 9, he gets an extra drive check. This is your counter against Norakami. This is your counter against the cards that bind your deck, and if you're trying to direct them to Demiurge. +3 is extremely easy to get. Cool Heat, all of a sudden, has the +10,000, swings 36. +5 is pretty easy to get, because you usually get there with your Meta Bolster play. So then he gets a crit. And if you do have the 9, like, you're probably not going to get there unless you run into that matchup, but cool, then you extra drive check. So really cool defensive card. He doesn't really have any cost at all, so you just go, boom, what up? And he has another skill for Chrono Jet. I mean, for Chrono Thing, but I'll show you that later. And moving up to G-Guards, finally. We're running 5 now. 2 Illyrio. You've heard me say before, this card is really freaking good. Just bomb deck cards, 31 shield, yo, what dog, what up? 1 header around. Might make this up to you, depending on if I take my next card out or not, but gives you control. You play Chrono Jet, you play this card. That's all there is to it. Rafana is the new tech in here. This is one I might be taking up for second hitter around if I do want to ride that way. But basically, she says you can target one of your cards that's above grade 0. Shuffle it in deck, call it a grade 0 from deck, and make it a 36 shield. This is cool against control decks that are going to try and like attack your field or whatever. This is good against Barkumo, Minubatama. If you do want to set things up, like this combos really well with this card. Or with the Chronodarian if it's somehow back in your deck. Basically, you take whatever they're targeting, or if you just have field, whatever, cool. Shove that field back in deck. Call it this dude for next turn. And he's suddenly there, so you just call anything from handed, what up, get you +1. Really cool. A little situational, because you do have to have field for it. But besides that, really good. And I may take it out for the second hit round if I do decide to play it that way. And finally, last but not least, we all knew Lulu. Lulu good. Lulu gets Stroll. Lulu help you get to good things. But anyways, that is the newest version of You're the Rabbit, which now has slightly less rabbits. It's like Chrono ZTB or whatever, but whatever. Like I said before, I should have a couple things up later on. Some testing, maybe an opening video or something. I do have a thing on the way and possibly some other decks. But until then, like this if you enjoyed. And don't forget to embrace the infinite. I can't say words. Bye-bye.